Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? This is Easy Things to Draw, and I'm Enrique. I'm going to go over the one secret to getting better at art, or getting better at drawing and painting. I kind of call it a secret only because I don't see it described a whole lot, or I don't see it emphasized a ton, but I'm going to emphasize it. And it's one of those things that I see at beginner stage and intermediate, like, very strongly. I actually see it at the intermediate stage where if they just did this thing, then they'd probably move to higher intermediate, like, immediately, you know? And that, you can draw, like, a car better, just no matter what object it is, car, person, background, it'll be a lot better if you do this. And I'm going to stop hyping it up, so I'll tell you what it is. It's something I say all the time. That is, think in 3D. Thinking in 3D. It's almost like a catchphrase. If you've been watching my channel, I say it a lot. But if there was one thing I would tell everybody to do, and the one thing that would improve your drawing, if you're not doing it already, one thing that would improve your drawing just so much immediately would be that, think in 3D. I'm taking a lot of things I say through the channel, I'm trying to isolate them and describe them a little bit more, so I'm going to describe this a little bit. So, when I'm drawing let's say I'm drawing like a bug, say I'm drawing like a roly-poly or something. So even drawing that, I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking in 3D. I'm not drawing it, but what I'm thinking is I'm thinking something like, I'm thinking of the form as it gets bigger and recedes back into space. I'm thinking that in my brain, in my mind. Like, this is more or less kind of what I'm thinking, but I'm not drawing it. And it's almost subconscious by this point. I see that everywhere, and that's, it'll make what you're drawing better as you're drawing it. You're thinking that as you draw it, not just kind of doing it and then correcting it later. You're doing it, it's because that's almost like your core thinking. You're thinking, again, within this 3D space, meaning I'm thinking of that far side. So an easy thing would be, again, a cube. As I'm drawing it, I'm thinking in that 3D space. Oops. And not only as I'm drawing it, you're also thinking in X-ray vision as well. I'm thinking, oh, how would that back end sit? You know what I mean? I'm thinking that stuff, but I'm not necessarily drawing it in. You're kind of thinking, like, how is that going to sit there? The way you think about this, you have to think of it, think of the object in all angles, and it'll look more like it's sitting there, And obviously, perspective comes into it, all that stuff. Obviously, but I'm thinking of the general basic framework would be you're thinking within this 3D form. What is it that you're doing? Something that really comes up a lot, I would say, would be in the character forms. Let's draw just a fast what if character. So even that, I'm thinking he's going to step on the ground, and he's going to be on the ground as well. I'm thinking of the 3D space he's standing in. He's probably standing on some kind of, obviously, the floor. How is that floor going to be? And where his feet are going to be placed. That's, again, part of thinking in 3 dimensions. People don't often do that, especially in beginner, and it kind of looks like they're floating. You kind of have to ask yourself this question, like, does it look like they could support their own weight in that position that you drew them in? Like, you take that character, you put them in, let's say, like 3D software, and then you put them in a video game. Are they going to be able to stand? Will that picture look like he's standing there and doing his thing? And that's a big part of, again, thinking in 3D landscape, everything. If you ask yourself that and it's no, you kind of have to work on that. I mean, I would maybe go into the perspective, into the, again, what parts make up this character, like what large shapes. That's why we do the whole kind of structured aspect of it. Like what shapes create this character, and is it balanced, or is it just insane? And like again, you can use this with cars, the basic car shape. Let's just draw generic. I'm thinking of that far side way over there, as I'm doing that in comparison to this side. And you're thinking of both at the same time, and that would be thinking, within 3D. So you think of that far side, you're like, okay, what's going on here? All right. And you adjust as you go along, right? And then I'm thinking again, like in that box, I'm thinking through it. I'm like, all right, is this, would it touch over there? You have to pull that back a little bit. It's again a framework. It's a mindset kind of. I mean, it's not like a mindset like like a. It's not a mindset like I would say like an attitude. It's more a mindset of like a structural thing you have in your head built in. If you do that with everything, whether it be a flower, again, whether it be with Mario, whether it be with any kind of character, let's pick Mario out of my head, a bug. When you're thinking of their far side, I'm thinking, for example, of this shape. I'm thinking of this far side over there. How is that going to look over there? How is that going to reflect on this side? When you're thinking about that with everything, and I know it sounds like a labor, right? It sounds like, oh no, this is going to be a hassle to keep this in my head the whole time. It won't. It'll improve everything you do, especially whoever's at intermediate right now, you guys. If you're at intermediate, this will kick your drawing into high gear, I think. I really do. If you start really employing this and keeping this in mind, almost everything you do, it'll just become a habit, And you just start just like, oh no, that what? That'll, gotta even that out on the far side. Oh, you'll start seeing the world within like a 3D, kind of 3D map, like 3D software like. Anyways, I've been hammering that point a lot, so now I'm rambling, and let me know what you think below. I really think if there's one thing, like I said, one principle, one thing to remember and do, like one thing, this would be it. So that's why I put such emphasis on it, and that's kind of why I put that clickbait style title to this. But anyways, thanks a lot, guys, and talk to you later.